Six potent nutrients can ward off the creeping weakness that stalks the legs of the elderly. With age, we obsess over the heart's fading pulse and the brain's flickering spark, but too often forget the legs. Those quiet pillars hauling us, step after step, through the drag of the years. Oh, they shoulder our history, yet we notice them only when pain claws or frailty whispers warnings. For seniors, leg health means more than trivial aches. It's the thin line between self-reliance and helplessness, confidence and fear. The statistics are unforgiving. Frail limbs, gnawed away by muscle loss and sarcopenia, turn every movement into a struggle. Joint stiffness, thinning cartilage, and the gnaw of chronic inflammation slowly ensnare the body, causing movement to falter and the threat of falls to loom large. Poor blood flow and failing nerves bring a chilling risk, numbness, festering wounds, and for some, the specter of devastating complications in diabetes. Still, in this darkness, nutrition offers a glimmer of hope. Beyond the familiar vitamins and minerals, calcium, D, magnesium, there lies an underworld of lesser-known compounds that can fortify the flesh, reinforce structure, and ignite dwindling strength. If you dare, share where you're tuning in from, and ask anything that lingers in your mind. Don't look away. Subscribe for more bare-bones truths on outpacing the relentless creep of age. Your survival may depend on it. Now, brace yourself. It begins with protein. In the eerie silence of aging, the first unsettling cracks often echo in the legs. Climbing stairs can start to feel more strenuous. Long walks may wear you out, and rising from a chair might seem like it takes extra effort. These changes are often subtle early signs of sarcopenia, the slow loss of muscle mass and strength that impacts nearly a third of people over 60. But is this decline something we simply have to accept? Or can we do something about it? More interestingly, could a single nutrient help preserve our leg strength and vitality as we get older? The answer is yes, and that nutrient is protein. Contrary to popular belief, protein isn't just beneficial for athletes or bodybuilders. For older adults, it's a key pillar of healthy aging, particularly where leg function is concerned. Since muscles are built from protein, and our bodies become less efficient at using it as we age, a process called anabolic resistance, older adults actually need more high-quality protein to maintain the same level of muscle-building benefit they once got with less. That's where protein truly shines. It supplies the materials the body needs to retain lean muscle, crucial for leg strength, balance, and staying mobile. Beyond that, one amino acid in particular, leucine, works as a biological trigger. Leucine, found in foods like eggs, dairy, and lean meats, switches on an important growth pathway that tells the body to build muscle. Without this signal, even meals high in protein might not adequately support muscle maintenance that aging legs depend on. What happens when our bodies don't get enough? The decline might come quietly, creeping in on weakened legs and dulled strength, making falls more likely, leaving once simple movements feeling like heavy burdens. Recovery from any injury slows, and every day the risk of losing a cherished independence grows just a bit more. Calories alone can't stop the loss. When protein intake falters, muscle fades away, not replaced with vigor, but with tiredness that settles in and lingers. Research now points to a hopeful path, though the numbers, 1.2 to 150 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight each day, feel clinical against the reality of slow breakfasts and missed lunches, when energy and appetite just aren't what they were. But giving your muscles what they need with every meal, not just dinner, could help push back against this slow fade. The kind of protein you reach for carries weight too. High leucine choices like eggs, fish, chicken, and Greek yogurt work well, while plant-based sources, quinoa, lentils, tofu, play their part if you get the mix right. For those who struggle to chew or simply have no appetite, protein powders and shakes become a necessary stand-in. And still, even as we talk of solutions, there's a somber reality. The battle against loss is quiet. Every day a little more muscle, strength, ease slipping quietly away. Now, onto omega-3, a nutrient most don't associate with repair or resilience, let alone hope. Most people see fat as something to fear, a threat lurking on every nutrition label. But what if there's a certain kind of fat that doesn't just spare you harm? It actively fights the forces nibbling away at your body from the inside out. Imagine an oily ally that seeps into your very joints, quiets the screaming ache in your legs, and shields the fragile nerves that let you walk at all. That's the strange, almost supernatural influence of omega-3 fatty acids. Creatures of the deep, hiding in fish oil, able to fend off the kind of creeping inflammation that haunts older bodies with silent torment. Leg pain, stiffness, swelling. These are the footsteps of age, symptoms many brush off until it's too late. In truth, they are the shadowy fingerprints of ongoing cellular sabotage. Chronic inflammation works quietly in the background, gnawing at your comfort and freedom, casting an invisible net over tendons and bones. This is where omega-3s become a kind of dark sorcery, working not as a flimsy bandage, but as a relentless internal antidote to the havoc stirred by inflammation. Unlike fleeting pills that hush pain for a moment, omega-3s burrow deep, muting the body's own call to arms at the most basic level. EPA and DHA, the dominant forms of omega-3s, tamper directly with your biology, twisting the machinery that churns out inflammatory signals, persuading your blood to run clearer and your joints to resist the slow takeover. With this eerie internal remodeling, the chains of stiffness and pain begin to loosen. The heaviness in your legs becomes less oppressive. Yet, the influence of omega-3 stretches further. As the years pass, circulation to the lower limbs naturally diminishes, another silent thief, cutting off life at the edges. When the slender capillaries within our legs and feet start to falter, their ability to deliver precious oxygen and nutrients fades. This decline drags in persistent coldness, relentless cramps, and wounds that linger without healing. For those grappling with diabetes or peripheral artery disease, the consequences can spiral into far grimmer territory. Omega-3s whisper a promise of reprieve. They coax the vessel's inner lining to function properly, allowing blood to surge rather than stagnate. As circulation improves, the darkness of compromised nerves retreats ever so slightly. Muscles, skin, and nerves catch a fleeting breath of vitality, staving off the specter of clots and catastrophic complications. This twisted dance of decay and hope extends further. There are unsettling signs that omega-3s may fend off the creeping numbness, burning, and tingling, harbingers of peripheral neuropathy, by quelling oxidative damage and coaxing nerve cells back from ruin. For the aging and those with vascular disease, sensation slips away so quietly that wounds and infections may bloom unnoticed, fed by neglect and dulled feeling. The question lingers: where can one seize hold of this protective force? The richest veins of omega-3s run through cold water fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and anchovies, each brimming with EP and DHA, the primal forms of omega-3s. If such fish seldom darken your plate, consider purified fish oil supplements or even algal oil for a plant-based shield. Are cold water fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and anchovies rich in EP and DHA? Yes. Their flesh is among the most concentrated natural sources, delivering these vital fats in abundance. If fish rarely finds its way onto your plate, you might have considered purified fish oil supplements, or, for a plant-based path, algal oil. These options can fill the nutritional gap, though the right amount depends on personal factors. Research points to anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 mg of combined EPA and DHA daily for soothing inflammation and supporting the heart. But even the best supplements can turn back time. Then there's collagen, an unsung element silently woven through your body. Unseen, it binds your joints and tendons, giving your legs the steadiness taken for granted in youth. It forms the invisible scaffolding that keeps you moving with confidence. But collagen fades as years drift by, the quiet erosion beneath every hesitant step. The reason old injuries linger a bit longer, and why a walk that once felt effortless now comes with stiffness that doesn't quite go away. The question lingers: is it possible to rebuild what growing older slowly dismantles? Collagen peptides offer some hope. Collagen, after all, is the body's most plentiful protein, underpinning connective tissue everywhere. Yet after 30, the wellspring dwindles, the supply receding year by year until, eventually, the aches and limitations grow difficult to ignore. While lost muscle can sometimes be coaxed back with effort, declining collagen slips away in silence. Unseen, but acutely felt, especially with each weary joint. Still, for many, collagen peptides feel like a small answer to the slow unraveling, an attempt to reclaim what time quietly takes. Hydrolyzed collagen peptides differ from typical dietary collagen because they're broken down into smaller amino acid chains that the body can absorb more efficiently. After entering the bloodstream, they don't just fade away. Instead, they head to joints and connective tissues, where they act like signals, triggering your body to ramp up its own collagen production. Clinical research shows that regular collagen peptide intake is linked to less joint pain, increased flexibility, and even improvements in bone mineral density over time. These benefits translate into steadier knees, stronger ankles, and a decreased likelihood of soft tissue injuries, which tend to heal more slowly in older adults. But collagen's impact goes beyond simple reinforcement. It enhances fluidity of movement. When the collagen framework in tissues is robust, legs move with less resistance, knees glide smoothly, Achilles tendons flex without swelling, and the plantar fascia cushions each step without discomfort. All these subtle yet vital elements of leg performance depend on healthy collagen structures. That said, collagen doesn't act alone. Its effectiveness is boosted by nutrients like vitamin C, which essentially flips the switch for collagen synthesis. Without enough vitamin C, new collagen can't be made or repaired efficiently, regardless of how much collagen you consume. This is why reputable collagen supplements often include vitamin C, or suggest pairing them with vitamin-rich foods like citrus or bell peppers. Regular, daily use, especially over a span of 8 to 12 weeks, is typically when the strongest results emerge in studies. Collagen peptides are usually sourced from cows, fish, or pigs, each offering the vital amino acids like glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline that the body needs to patch up its connective tissues. While marine collagen often gets praise for how easily it's absorbed, bovine collagen tends to be the subject of most of the research focused on joint and bone health. Still, there's a quiet sense of longing in how people talk about these options, almost as if they're grasping at ways to slow down the feeling of the body slipping away, bit by bit. And then there's creatine. So often boxed in as a supplement for young athletes and lifters, creatine rarely gets recognized for its quieter, more poignant role: the hope of rekindling energy in legs that don't feel as steady as they once did. Our muscles quietly store creatine, using it as a hidden reserve of strength for every quick movement or step. But with age, this reserve diminishes. Sudden energy wanes, standing or walking becomes more taxing, and an unspoken vulnerability creeps in. A slower pace, muscles tiring with a stubborn ache, confidence replaced by a cautious shuffle. For many, it feels like losing a little piece of themselves to time, while scanning the shelves for anything that might help. Something uncanny happens with creatine, a substance whose reputation as a simple supplement belies its power. Deep within the world of clinical trials and aging bodies, creatine stands out as one of the rare potions proven to push back the relentless decay of muscle that comes with age. Even minimal resistance training, when combined with creatine, transforms with surprising force. Muscle thickens, legs grow more potent, and movements that once felt labored become almost brisk. Under the cold scrutiny of meta-analyses, elderly participants who consumed creatine while exercising didn't just outperform their peers. They made graveyard-quiet recoveries, walking faster, rising from chairs with more force, and summoning leg power that once seemed lost to time. But the reach of creatine is even more unsettling. Its shadow stretches to bone, where it seems to shore up density as if fortifying defenses against the ever-looming threat of fracture. This is no minor detail when the legs, those age-burdened pillars, bear the crushing mass of mortality and are only one slip away from catastrophe. Stronger muscle becomes the only shield, and creatine, with mechanical precision, forges both flesh and bone into something harder to break. Most nutrients are slow to yield results, their promise leaking out over months. Creatine is bracingly immediate within weeks. Some report surges of unnatural energy, steadier legs, and the chilling return of abilities thought lost. The most common incarnation, creatine monohydrate, is easy to obtain and almost disturbingly potent at just 3 to 5 grams daily. No elaborate rituals required, only the quiet, relentless march of days. The effects accumulate, and the transformation begins, leaving one to wonder what other dormant strengths the body might be hiding, waiting only for the right catalyst to waken them from sleep. You can mix it into water or blend it with a smoothie, and it's best taken alongside a meal to improve absorption. Wondering about side effects? Creatine is among the most thoroughly researched supplements, and when used in proper amounts, it's recognized as very safe, even for older adults. You might notice a bit of water retention at the start, but this usually subsides quickly. As for the worries about kidney health in people without pre-existing conditions, clinical data have largely put those to rest. Now, glucosamine, it's not flashy, nor is it a headline-grabbing superfood, but it's been a staple supplement in the world of joint health for decades. Extensive research supports its use, especially for osteoarthritis, a disorder marked by cartilage wearing down, afflicting millions as they age. What sets glucosamine apart is that it isn't just for pain relief. It actually serves as a foundational component in cartilage, joint fluid, and connective tissue. It's the building material the body uses for joint upkeep. As people get older, the body's ability to repair and rebuild cartilage drops off. This eventually leads to thinner cartilage layers, ongoing inflammation, stiffness, and pain, particularly in major weight-bearing joints like the knees, which take the greatest strain. Glucosamine helps bolster the body's cartilage production and also aids in maintaining the thick, lubricating fluid that cushions joints. Glucosamine plays a quiet role in sustaining the body's dwindling cartilage, while also helping preserve the once plush fluid that cushions and nourishes joints from the inside. Over the years, long-term studies, including large reviews like those from the Cochrane Group, have found that glucosamine, especially in its sulfate form, can ease joint pain and slightly slow the relentless erosion of cartilage, most notably in the knee. Still, the science mostly circles around knees, as if forgetting that the smaller joints and ankles and feet can become just as battered by time and wear. One detail almost everyone seems to overlook is that glucosamine works by offering stable, gradual support. It's not some pain-numbing quick fix. Its promise lies in its slow work reinforcing the frail framework inside the joints. People who give it a real chance might notice small victories, a joint that cracks less than it used to, stairs that seem a touch less daunting, or a walk across gravel that's a little less uncertain. While glucosamine is often paired with chondroitin, another compound clinging to the hope of rescuing cartilage, the improvements, though measurable, tend to be modest and subdued. For those who start early, before too much has been lost, glucosamine might still hold back the tide a bit longer. But it is, at best, a gradual process, not the triumphant cure many ache for. The usual dose is 1,500 non of glucosamine sulfate a day divided between meals. The wait for improvement can stretch from a month to 2, and for some the changes never quite add up to the return of lost youth. Consistency, however, is the only way forward with this supplement. Although most people tolerate it well, individuals with shellfish allergies should be wary, since some supplements are sourced from shellfish shells. However, there are now plenty of plant-based and synthetic alternatives on the market. Next up is curcumin. Used for centuries in traditional medicines like Ayurveda and Chinese herbalism, curcumin has recently received global recognition for its strong anti-inflammatory and antioxidant abilities, and this reputation is well-earned. Modern research has validated curcumin's benefits in hundreds of studies, many concentrating on its impact on chronic joint and muscle issues. Curcumin, in particular, has demonstrated effectiveness in alleviating osteoarthritis, tendinitis, and inflammatory discomfort, conditions that frequently trouble the legs and lower body as people age. As for its mechanism, curcumin blocks the inflammatory cycle at the cellular level by inhibiting vital enzymes such as COX-2 and 5-LOX, along with molecules like TNF-alpha and interleukins, which trigger pain and swelling, in contrast to standard NSAIDs, which often cause stomach irritation or carry long-term risks. Curcumin is generally easier on the system, especially in thoughtfully formulated versions. Some clinical trials even suggest curcumin matches ibuprofen in improving joint pain and stiffness in arthritis patients, while offering a much safer profile. For aging legs, this could translate to less swelling in the knees, reduced strain in overworked tendons, and greater comfort while moving. It can be especially helpful for conditions like plantar fasciitis, where inflammation in the connective band under the foot leads to persistent heel pain. A notoriously stubborn problem, curcumin offers a rare glimmer of hope among natural remedies, with its capacity to ease pain and encourage tissue repair reaching beyond mere symptom relief. There's a sense that it might actually touch the roots of the problem. Its antioxidant properties reach past joints and tendons, offering fragile protection for aging muscles and fraying nerves. Those same tissues constantly battered by free radicals, day by day, those unstable molecules quietly wear the body down, their damage accumulating almost unnoticed until weakness or numbness sets in, especially for those who already carry the burden of diabetes or poor circulation. Curcumin can counteract some of this decay, sparing tissue from the worst of the damage, and perhaps making discomfort a little more bearable. Though it's clear the passage of time can't be fully reversed, still, curcumin's promise is complicated by the fact that, on its own, it passes through the digestive system with hardly a trace. Only recent innovations such as adding piperine or using advanced delivery methods have let some of its potential finally reach those who need it. Thanks to these improvements, curcumin's benefits are more within reach, and a usual daily dose of about 500 to 1,000 mg is enough for most. After several weeks, many realize their pain has softened in the background. It doesn't erase suffering in a flash, but ushers in small mercies, almost imperceptibly. The comfort it brings feels more like a sigh of relief than a cure, reminding us of what has been lost, even as it tries to keep what remains. Over the course of this exploration, we've looked at 6 key nutrients, each playing their part in supporting the health of our legs, roles that science confirms, even as time keeps pushing back. Protein acts as a lifeline, helping to slow the steady loss of muscle that comes with growing older. Omega-3 fatty acids push back against the stubborn inflammation and sluggish circulation that make every step feel heavier, offering the hope of less pain when moving. Collagen peptides do what they can to shore up the tendons, ligaments, and cartilage, trying to hold together the structures that once moved so freely. Creatine sparks what remains of muscle energy, striving to summon a little more strength and stamina, a quiet effort to stave off the loss of independence that looms with each passing year. Glucosamine tries to comfort achy joints, easing their wear and tear, doing its best to preserve whatever flexibility is left. And curcumin, gentle but earnest, steps in where chronic pain wants to stay, making movement possible for just a bit longer. Each one helps where it can, working together in ways that sometimes make the burden lighter, if only a little. One builds muscle, another soothes inflamed tissues. One eases pain, another helps to heal. And yet, no matter how promising these nutrients may seem, there's no universal solution. Each person's journey is different. And for those juggling medications or old diagnoses, seeking your doctor's input is simply part of the process. The hope for better legs doesn't have to rest entirely on drastic measures or resignation as things slip away. Still, the struggle to reclaim what's fading is real. Everything starts with nutrition, making smarter choices step by step. Now you're equipped with the information and the science behind it, but most importantly, you're empowered to act. Give your legs the fuel they deserve and let them push you further and stronger than before. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. It helps us create even more useful content for you. Share your thoughts or questions in the comments, or tell us what topics you want us to discuss next. We really enjoy your feedback. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll always catch our newest health tips.